never thought I'd be the kind of woman who'd kept secrets like this. My name is Vivian, and I'm 48 years old. For 23 years, I've been best friends with Sarah. We raised our children together, shared every joy and every heartbreak, and celebrated every milestone side by side. Her husband, Nathan, was always just Nathan, the quiet, steady man who grilled steaks at our barbecues and remembered exactly how I take my coffee. That warm summer evening, their 25th anniversary party filled their beautiful backyard with laughter, fairy lights, and the soft scent of jasmine drifting on the breeze. I wore a simple midnight blue dress that brushed against my skin like a secret. Everything felt perfectly normal. I moved through the crowd, hugging old friends, clinking glasses, smiling the way I always do. But then, something shifted. I caught Nathan watching me from across the patio, just for a second. His eyes lingered a moment too long, and my body reacted before my mind could catch up. A gentle flutter low in my stomach, a warmth that spread through my chest like honey in sunlight. I told myself it was nothing, just the wine, just the music, just the nostalgia of old friendships. I shouldn't want this. I've always been the responsible one, the loyal one. Yet standing there under those twinkling lights, I felt a dangerous, irresistible pull I had no name for. My heart beat a little faster. My skin tingled where the evening air touched it. If my words are already making your heart beat faster, if you're feeling that same dangerous pull I felt that night, then I want you to stay with me. Tap subscribe right now so you don't miss any part of my confession. I need you here with me as I finally tell the truth. I stepped inside the house to escape the noise and the strange heat rising in me. The party sounds softened behind me. I wandered into the quiet study, drawn by the scent of old books and polished wood. For a moment, I was alone. I closed my eyes, letting out a soft sigh, trying to steady myself. Then I heard the door click gently behind me. I turned slowly, my breath catching in my throat. Nathan stood in the doorway, the soft glow of the desk lamp catching the silver at his temples. He smiled that gentle, familiar smile, but tonight it felt different, deeper. "Escaping the crowd too?" he asked, his voice low and warm, like velvet brushing over bare skin. I nodded, suddenly aware of how quiet the room was, how the distant music and laughter felt miles away. Sarah sent me to find more wine glasses. I lied softly, my fingers tracing the edge of an old leather book. He stepped inside and closed the door with a soft click that made my pulse jump. We were alone, just the two of us in this cozy study that smelled of aged paper and faint cologne. My body reacted instantly, a slow, tempting heat rising up my neck, my skin tingling as if the air itself had grown heavier. We talked at first about safe things, the party, how beautiful Sarah looked tonight, how fast the years had passed, but our eyes kept finding each other. His gaze lingered on my lips, then my collarbone, then back to my eyes, and each time my heart raced a little faster. I shouldn't want this. He was my best friend's husband, the man I'd known for decades, yet something dangerous and irresistible was awakening between us. He moved closer to help me reach a high shelf, his arm brushing lightly against mine. That single touch, warm, firm, unexpected, sent a shiver through me. My breath trembled. I could feel the heat of his body so close, the subtle scent of him wrapping around me like an embrace I didn't want to escape. "You look beautiful tonight, Vivian," he murmured, his voice dropping lower. The way he said my name made my knees feel weak. I turned to face him fully, our eyes locked. Time seemed to slow. The forbidden longing I'd tried to ignore all evening now pulsed between us, warm and alive. My fingers brushed his as I took the glasses from his hand. Neither of us pulled away. That lingering touch felt electric, sending waves of tempting warmth through my entire body. I should go back outside, I whispered, but my feet refused to move. My body was craving something I knew I shouldn't want. His nearness made my skin flush. My breathing grew softer, shallower. Nathan didn't step back. Instead, he looked at me with those deep, knowing eyes, as if he could sense the restless hunger stirring inside me. The air between us felt charged, thick with everything we weren't saying. In that moment, standing so close I could feel the warmth radiating from his chest, I realized this was the beginning of something I might not be able to stop. My heart was pounding so loudly, I was sure he could hear it. That dangerous pull was growing stronger, and I wasn't sure I wanted it to end. I swallowed hard, my lips parting slightly as I searched his face. What was happening to me, to us? I stayed there, frozen in that charged silence, my eyes still locked on his. The study felt smaller, warmer, as if the walls themselves were leaning in to listen. Nathan didn't move away. Instead, he leaned against the heavy oak desk, his gaze never leaving mine. "You've always had that quiet strength, Vivian," he said softly, his voice like a caress in the dim light. "Sarah talks about it all the time, how you hold everything together." His words wrapped around me, tender and sincere. I felt my cheeks warm, a slow heat rising that had nothing to do with the summer night outside. I shouldn't want his compliments. I shouldn't crave the way his eyes traced the line of my neck, but my body reacted anyway, that restless hunger stirring deeper, making my pulse quicken in places I tried to ignore. We talked then, really talked, about the old vacations our families took together, the laughter-filled weekends at the lake house, the way we'd all sit on the porch watching the sunset. Memories that once felt innocent now carried new weight. Every shared story brought us closer, our voices dropping lower, more intimate. "Do you remember that night at the cabin when the power went out?" he asked, a small smile playing on his lips. We stayed up talking for hours while Sarah and the kids slept. I nodded, my breath catching. "I remember. You told me things you'd never told anyone else." Our eyes met again, and this time the air thickened. I could feel the dangerous pull growing stronger, like an invisible thread tightening between us. My skin tingled where his sleeve had brushed mine earlier. My heart was racing now, a warm, tempting rhythm that made me shift uncomfortably in my dress. "Be honest with me. Have you ever felt that sudden, forbidden spark with someone you knew you shouldn't want? Tell me in the comments below. I need to know I'm not alone in this." Nathan stepped just a little closer, not enough to touch, but close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from him. The scent of his cologne, sandalwood, and something deeper wrapped around me like a secret embrace. I found myself imagining what it would feel like if he reached out right now, just one gentle hand on my waist. The thought sent a delicious shiver down my spine. "I've always admired you," he confessed quietly, his voice husky, more than I probably should have. Those words landed like a spark on dry leaves. My body reacted with a rush of heat that spread through my chest and lower, making my breathing unsteady. I shouldn't want this. He belonged to Sarah, my best friend, yet here I was, standing in this quiet room, feeling more alive than I had in years. The forbidden longing was becoming irresistible. We kept talking, circling around the truth without saying it. He told me how the years had changed him, how he sometimes felt invisible in his own life. I shared how lonely the nights had become since the kids moved out, how I craved connection that went beyond surface smiles. Every word drew us deeper into this private world. At one point, I reached for a book on the shelf between us, and our fingers touched again. Longer this time. Neither of us pulled away. That simple contact sent electricity dancing across my skin. My lips parted in a soft sigh. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, in my wrists, everywhere. The warmth between us was growing, tempting, dangerous. If you were there with us in that study, would you have stayed, or would you have walked away? Be honest with me below. Your words mean more than you know. Time slipped away. The party outside felt like another universe. Here, it was just his voice, my racing thoughts, and the slow, aching pull. I noticed the way his eyes dropped to my mouth when I spoke, the subtle way he leaned in when I laughed softly. Every small movement built the tension higher. My body felt electric, alive with cravings I had no right to feel. "I keep thinking about how easy it is to talk to you," he murmured, his breath brushing my temple as he reached past me for another glass. Like we've been waiting for this moment for years. My knees weakened. Heat rose in waves through me, making my skin flush. I closed my eyes for a second, fighting the urge to lean into him. The guilt was there, sharp and real, but the longing was stronger. That dangerous, irresistible hunger made my fingers tremble. We stood like that for what felt like forever, close, vulnerable, hearts pounding in the quiet. The air was thick with everything we weren't saying. I wanted to stop. I wanted to run. But mostly, I wanted to stay right there and let this forbidden warmth carry me wherever it led. Another soft sigh escaped my lips. "Nathan, we shouldn't be here like this." Yet even as I whispered it, my body leaned forward just a fraction. The slow burn between us was becoming unbearable, beautiful, and terrifying all at once. Every second stretched, every glance lingered, pulling us closer to the edge of something we both knew could change everything. And still, I didn't want it to end. The silence between us grew heavier, sweeter, impossible to ignore. My heart hammered so loudly, I was sure he could hear it. Nathan's eyes searched mine, dark with the same restless hunger I felt burning inside me. "I know we shouldn't," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "But I can't stop thinking about you, Vivian. Not tonight. Not for a long time." Those words broke something open in me. A soft, trembling sigh escaped my lips as I stepped closer, closing the last inch of space between us. My body reacted instantly, a wave of warm desire flooding through me, making my skin tingle everywhere. His hand rose slowly, hesitantly, and when his fingers finally brushed my cheek, I leaned into his touch like I'd been starving for it. The warmth of his palm against my face sent sparks dancing down my neck and across my shoulders. So gentle, so dangerous. My eyes fluttered closed for a moment, savoring the irresistible feel of him. "Nathan." I breathed his name like a secret, my voice barely above a whisper. "We can't do this." But even as I said it, my hand found his chest, resting over his racing heart. I could feel it pounding beneath my palm, matching my own frantic rhythm. The heat of his body seeped through his shirt, pulling me closer. My fingers curled slightly into the fabric, holding on as if letting go would make me fall. He cupped my face with both hands now, so tenderly it made tears prick at the corners of my eyes. Our foreheads touched. His breath mingled with mine, warm and shaky. The scent of him surrounded me completely. In that suspended moment, the world outside the study disappeared. There was only us, only this forbidden longing that had finally refused to stay hidden. Then his lips brushed mine, not demanding, not rushed, just a soft, lingering press filled with years of unspoken yearning. A gentle sigh slipped from me into him as my body melted against his. My hand slid up to his shoulders, gripping lightly, feeling the strength there, the careful way he held me, like I was something precious and fragile. Heat rose between us, in slow, tempting waves. My skin flushed everywhere we touched, my chest against his fingers threading gently into my hair. I shouldn't want this. The thought flashed through my mind even as I kissed him back, slower, deeper, letting the dangerous pull carry me. Every soft movement of his lips sent fresh shivers through my entire body. My knees felt weak. My heart felt too full, too alive. The warmth spreading through me was overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying. We broke apart only enough to breathe, our lips still brushing, foreheads pressed together again. His hands trembled as they cradled my face. Mine rested over his heart, feeling it thunder beneath my touch. "Vivian," he murmured against my mouth, voice husky and full of wonder. "I've wanted this for so long, but I never thought." "I know," I whispered back, my breath trembling. Neither did I. But here we are. Another kiss followed, softer this time, slower, like we were memorizing each other. My body pressed closer of its own accord, craving the solid warmth of him, the way his arms wrapped around me with such protective tenderness. The tingling sensation danced across every inch of my skin. A deep, irresistible longing bloomed low in my belly, spreading like warm honey through my veins. Guilt tried to rise, sharp and painful, but the feeling of being held by him drowned it in sweetness. In that moment, I felt seen, desired, alive in a way I hadn't in years. We stayed like that, wrapped in each other, trading soft kisses and whispered confessions. His thumb stroked my cheeks so gently, it made me shiver. I traced the line of his jaw with trembling fingers, amazed at how right this wrong thing felt. When we finally pulled back, our eyes met again. The air between us still crackled with heat and emotion. My lips felt warm and sensitive, my body humming with the memory of his touch. I rested my forehead against his chest, listening to his heartbeat, my arms around his waist. "What are we doing?" I breathed, half laughing, half terrified. He held me tighter, pressing a kiss to my hair. "I don't know, but I don't want to stop." Neither did I. Even as the distant sounds of the party drifted back in, the dangerous warmth of our first crossing lingered on my skin like a brand. My body still tingled, my heart still raced, and deep inside, that restless hunger whispered that this was only the beginning. I slipped out of the study first, my legs unsteady, my cheeks still flushed with heat. The party noise rushed back in like a wave, but everything felt distant now. Unreal. My lips tingled where his had been. My skin still carried the warmth of his hands. Every step I took, I could feel the memory of his body pressed against mine. That gentle yet powerful pull that had changed everything in a single moment. Nathan followed a few minutes later. I watched from across the patio as he rejoined the crowd, smiling at Sarah when she touched his arm. My heart twisted sharply. Guilt flooded through me like ice water, cold and heavy, but it couldn't wash away the warm desire still blooming inside my chest. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't still be craving more. Yet when our eyes met over the heads of laughing guests, the spark was still there, brighter, more dangerous. He looked at me for one long second, and I felt it again. That irresistible pull low in my stomach, that restless hunger refusing to settle. My breath caught. I quickly looked away, pressing a hand to my warm neck, trying to steady myself. Sarah came over, glowing and happy, pulling me into a hug. "There you are, having fun?" she asked, completely unaware. Her trust made the guilt sharper, but it also made the secret feel even more intoxicating. I smiled and nodded, hoping she couldn't hear how loudly my heart was still racing. The rest of the evening became a delicate dance of stolen glances and hidden longing. Every time Nathan passed near me, his fingers would brush mine accidentally, sending fresh shivers racing up my arm. I'd catch him watching me while he poured drinks, his gaze heavy with everything we couldn't say. My body reacted to each look, heat rising, skin tingling, a deep, tempting ache that made me shift restlessly in my dress. Be honest with me. If you had just shared that forbidden moment with someone you should never want, would you feel more guilty or more alive? Tell me in the comments. I need to know I'm not the only one torn like this. Later, as the party began to wind down, I stood alone near the garden edge, the night breeze cooling my flesh skin. My mind kept replaying every second in the study, the tenderness of his touch, the way he whispered my name, how perfectly I had fit against him. The guilt was real, painful even, but the longing was stronger. I felt awake, desired, beautiful in a way I hadn't in years. I knew this could destroy everything, our friendship, their marriage, my peace. Yet standing there under the stars, still feeling the ghost of his lips on mine, I couldn't bring myself to regret it, not fully. That dangerous warmth had awakened something in me that refused to sleep again. As I watched Nathan help Sarah carry things inside, our eyes met one final time. The promise in his gaze made my pulse quicken all over again. This was only the beginning, and I was already terrified of how much I wanted whatever came next. The party had long ended. The house was quiet, lights dimmed, and I lay in the guest room upstairs, my body still humming with everything that had happened. Sleep refused to come. My lips still remembered his kisses. My skin still burned where he had touched me. My phone lit up on the nightstand, a message from Nathan. "I can't stop thinking about you, about us. Tonight changed everything, Vivian." My heart raced again as I read it, that familiar warm desire flooding back through me. I typed with trembling fingers. "Neither can I. I know we shouldn't, but I don't want this to end here." The reply came quickly. "Tomorrow, the old cafe by the river at noon. Just us, please." I closed my eyes, letting out a soft, shaky sigh. The danger of it all made my pulse thunder. Guilt and longing twisted together inside me, but the pull toward him was stronger than both. I wanted more of his gentle hands, his whispered words, his warmth against me. Even knowing how wrong it was, I couldn't say no. This is only the beginning of my confession, and I'm scared of how far I'm willing to go. If my story has stirred something deep inside you tonight, if you understand this dangerous, irresistible pull, then stay with me on this journey. Tap subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. And please, tell me in the comments, if you were in my place, would you meet him tomorrow, or would you try to walk away? Be honest with me. Your words mean everything right now. I set my phone down, my body still tingling with anticipation, my heart wide open and terrified. Whatever comes next, I know I won't be able to resist him. Total words, 222.